everyone, welcome to Data Gym. Uh, Today we will start a wonderful journey into the wonderful world of SAS. This is meant to be a series of comprehensive SAS tutorials that will take you from zero knowledge of SAS to having knowledge that you can conveniently work and do your analysis within the SAS environment. SAS has been around for quite some time, since the 70s, more than 40 years, and it has been used extensively in various industries. The question is, what is SAS? SAS initially stands for Statistical Analysis Systems. It is a series of programs that you can use conveniently to analyze your data set. So from the acronym statistical analysis, you will quickly jump to the conclusion that it is used mainly for statistical analysis. If that was your conclusion, you are not completely wrong, because that was the initial reason for bringing the software. So, but over the years, is that it has moved from just being able to analyze a few data sets to being able to do a lot of things, much more than you can even imagine. So SAS can not only be applied for data analysis, but it can do a lot more than just data analysis. So this series of tutorials will take you from learning about what the SAS system is, as we have started to learn, what it is, how best we can navigate our ways, find our way around the SAS environment, and how to get your data into SAS, and how to do whatever analysis you need to do and get your output. SAS is a program consisting of an integrated system of software products. What I mean by integrated system of software products is that it doesn't only work to the advantage of the data analyst, it also does a lot more than that. It finds its use in large scale functions, programs, such as financial management, decision making, decision support system, human resource management, and a lot of other things. Even data mining, you can use the SAS to scrape data of the internet, to do a lot of things. So you can enter your data, you can create new data set in SAS, you can manage your data, you can analyze your data, you can make design experiment within SAS, you can manage your product, you can also develop new software applications within SAS. So it's involves much more than just a tool for statistical analysis. So it's a lot. So from just statistical analysis systems, the acronym now represents the software itself, rather than what it does. So it doesn't just analyze data, but the acronym SAS is used as the name for the software. So that's just all about SAS. One quick thing that I want to chip in is that SAS can be integrated also with R. If you love R so much and you don't just want to leave the language, there's good news. And the good news is that you can call R directly within SAS. Yes, you can do whatever you can do. You would normally do in R, data wrangling, cleaning your data, subsetting, doing a lot of other things that you want to do in R, you can do all within the SAS environment. And then you can output your data into SAS, and then you continue with downstream analysis in SAS. So um, another question is, the question is, why SAS? Why do you need SAS? Um, SAS has been around for a long time, more than 40 years, and it has served a lot of purposes. So a lot of companies, banks, industries have used this system, automate the whole system of data analysis in SAS, and they've written millions, if not billions, of lines of code that work for them, and they want to keep it that way. So it is something that has worked for them over the years, and the reason why they trust it so much is because it is stable, and it's expensive, yeah, but when you compare the cost to stability in what it does, being able to be consistent with the automated system they've set up, then you will conclude that it is will be a good investment. So it can help you manage your computer memory. So um, one of the things that sets it apart from every other software that I've used so far, and that you will grow to know very soon, is that SAS has detailed documentation. What I mean by detailed documentation is that every step, everything you do in SAS is there for you to look up. So if you are running a program in SAS and you hit a wall, if you hit a wall, don't look back. Just go to the internet, search for SAS, um, um, search for SAS documentation or user's guide, then it will lead you straight to something like this, where you can have access to a lot of the things that SAS does. So, for instance, here, where it starts from A to tell you, oh, okay, if you are going to use this, this is where to start. These are some specific examples that will get you started. If you want to use, for instance, PROC ANOVA, the ANOVA procedure, there are some things you need to know: randomized complete block with one factor, and then examples with RCB, with factorial treatment structure, multiple comparison procedures, split plot, learning square, split plot, strip split plot. So these are specific examples of how you can apply the procedure, the ANOVA procedure, to analyze this data set. So there's one thing that just captured my attention here. That is this BGLIMM procedure. It tells you here it's a new procedure, so you can have access to yeah, you can learn more about it and see what it does. So PROC box plot and a lot of other things. So it has detailed instructions. In fact, okay, let me just move straight into one of these examples. So for instance, I have example like this. Here it tells you this PROC ANOVA, PROC may so procedure ANOVA. So in SAS you'll be seeing a lot of PROCs, PROC, PROC, and it's just the short form of procedure. So it means specific functions that are written to do the analysis of variance. So yeah, this is what you see. If you want to get an overview of the procedure, you can click here to get an overview. The PROC ANOVA performs analysis of variance for balanced data from a wide variety of experimental designs. You get that, and then you have where to get started, some few examples, and specific examples about some of the syntax that you will come across: maneuver, the model repeated, and a lot of other things. And for details about some of those specifics, so and some good examples. So for instance, if you want these, you have examples of examples that actually work. So examples of these, something like this, you can just copy the code into your SAS, run it, and get some output, and then you run your PROC ANOVA. Like I mentioned earlier, PROC is procedure. So another, I have my data set, I have my class, and I have my model, and then I run. Run means go, just do it. So that's pretty much what I'm going to talk about there. Another thing is um, the introduction to the programming environment. So SAS programming environment is pretty much what you see if you're using the desktop version of SAS. You have four windows or four panels. So we have the editor window, we have the log, we have the output, and we have the results display window here, and then we have the explorer. So pretty much for windows, as you can see, to start with, I will just briefly explain to you the editor window. Editor window is for editing your code. Did you get that? Editor window is for editing your code. So, to be frank with you, 90, if not more than 95% of your interaction with SAS will be on this window. It is where you type in your code, you do a lot of things here within this. Um, the log window is like as the name suggests, this kind of logs your progress. Whatever you do, it keeps tracks. It keeps track of whatever you do, and you can go back here and see whether you're doing it right or wrong. So output, as the name suggests, you get your output from here. Here on this in this part, this panel, we have the results window. This is where if you run any of these any of in your analysis, you can see the results of whatever you run here. So here in the Explorer, you see the libraries. When you click on it, you see some folders here. These are actually called libraries. So libraries are folders where you can store some basic information, so some of your data. So these libraries they all come with SAS, pre-installed with SAS. So you can create your own library. As we go along, you will get to know how to create your own library where you can store your own data set. So if you open this data set, SAS help, this library, that SAS help, you see that we have a lot of things there. These are, some of them are data sets, some of them are functions that come pre-installed with SAS. So we will go there in a minute. So what you need to know is that you have an edit window where you spend most of your time. You have the log window where you have to actually check. One thing I will want to tell you, and you'll find out very soon, is that not everything that appears as fine here is actually fine. You tell, oh, good, everything is working fine. The blues are blues. There are no reds, and there are no warnings. That doesn't really work in most cases. So you would have to do some checking. We will be doing a lot of that. So don't. I just want you to anticipate those something like that. So introduction. I've introduced you to this interface. I just want us to do a few things here to just get us started. So when we come the next tutorial, we won't have to do that again. So we want to come to the editor window. Just click on editor window. I just want to, I'm here in the editor window. Just go to tools. See, you go to tools, and here you come to options. You come to enhanced editor. Click on it. What we want here is nothing other than just you checking these box here. Show lines, line numbers. So there will be lines here as you type. So that will help you a lot, especially if you are teaching or if you are giving instruction on what to do. You can ask anyone or those listening to you to go to line 15 and do whatever you want them to do there. So another thing we want to do is, as you can see, the text here are small. So I want to blow them up a little so that you can see them. So that they can be a little bit readable. So I'm going to blow it up to 14. it's easy to also just come here and just highlight everything and just type what you want there. You can type 15, you can type 14. That's pretty much what we're going to be doing. Here you come to enhance editor, you come here, you click on this, you check this box, and you come to appearance. You just bump this up from 11, which is the default, to 15. That is the size of this character of this font. So when we do that, when I say OK, see what happens to these text here. See, they are bigger now. You get that now? So just try to do it. It's pretty much what we'll be doing for now. And try the components of a SAS program. SAS program. The components, we have two. We have the data step, and we have the PROC step. I already briefly mentioned what a PROC is. We have the procedure, which is the PROC, which is like a function in SAS. It's a group of functions that are programmed into SAS that you can just call, and it helps you do something specific. PROC print. I want to use the procedure to print procedure print to output this data set into the window. So that's PROC print. So you can do that. And like I said, we have the data step. The data step is anything that starts with the word data. So I'm just going to start typing by saying data. Here it's not going to be the color will not change. So I will show you why. One of the reasons you see this, normally I should have this as a bona fide dark blue color, which is a SAS keywords. So we have data set, data, carz, I put a semicolon, and I want to say set, use this data. Remember we went to SAS help the other time. Okay, so I will explain that to you in a moment. So if not in this tutorial, in a few tutorials from now. So it's just a step in SAS. It starts with data. I will use the keyword set. I also use the keyword run. The reason why you see this one is blue. The reason why these two are not blue is because there is something here that I've not added. I have not closed it. These are just open statements. They are not closed. So I want to close them by just pressing the key, the control button on your Windows, control /. You see what happens? So when I do control /, the color turns from the red and the black to green, which is like in SAS it's called comment. I can just remove all these empty spaces here, and then it comes from those black color to the green, which is comment in SAS, and here you have your data keyword in blue. So what I'm trying to say here is that okay, you can do this. You can just bring them down and indent what you try to do. So these are the key things here. You see data, carz, and then the run. So these are the SAS keywords. If you look at them, you discover that the color of these and these are the same. This blue is slightly lighter than this, so it means this one does something differently. So what I'm saying here is that I want you SAS to create a data called carz for me. So you see the keyword data, keyword data. So I write this. I just close it here, so I can type comment here. Okay, data step in SAS. You see, it starts with data. So once you see this, you know it's a data step. It's easy to know. SAS is a very friendly language, so you get to know in some couple of videos that is something that you can really work with. you have data and then carz. So it means you have um, to create a data set called carz for me. Set means, in this case, use, okay, or from. So I'm saying that from this data set here, I want you to create a data set called carz. No argument, nothing whatsoever. So what I'm in effect I'm saying is that I want you to take this data set here and just print and copy the content of this data set into, okay, let me just call it cars. Okay, let me just call it cars, so that these cars will be different from these. So we already have cars here. So what happens is here is that, remember what you remember, see sashelp here, this is a folder. What this statement does is, I want you to go to the, is saying is that I want you to go to this folder and take out this data set called carz. So if you click on this folder, you actually find a data set called carz here. So carz here is in capital letter, carz here is in small letter. So I will still explain to you that SAS does not discriminate. So in subsequent videos, you will learn to know how SAS treats some things, things like that. So what first things first here is that this is a data set. I want you to create this, go into the folder by picking the data, and just nothing else. I didn't want to say, okay, when this is this, when that is that. No, nothing else is. So I want here, I only want you to print out the copy the content of the data set into this into a new data set called carz. This is what happens. So if you run that, it will give you output. You see, let's run it and look at our log file. You see the log tells us that there are 428 observations read from the dataset sashelp. You see now it's even capital letter here. So note again, say that the work carz as this. This is a folder called work here. You see the folder here. If you click it, you will see the carz there. You see it's here. So we'll talk about that in subsequent videos. And then it has these observations and 15 variables. So SAS treat your rows as observations and your columns as variables. So let's do something. Let's have a peek at our data set. So that comes with that is when we talk about the next component of a SAS program, which is the PROC. The PROC step. So we have the PROC step, we have the data step. So let me just make this in calculator. So the PROC step is the procedure step. So we are going to print out this data set. Okay, we are printing it out. So to do that, we just write PROC print. So we have to supply data in this case, but in most cases you don't just have to do that. If you want, so SAS automatically uses these the last data set that you create and just print it out. You don't need to specify data. So data equals carz, and then I just want to say run. See, run with this stuff. So something that comes very and that you may want to ask is why the semicolon. Semicolon is one of the biggest sin you can ever commit when you use SAS. So you have to add a semicolon. Every major sentence in English, full sentence ends with a full stop. So a full sentence in SAS, so to speak, ends with a semicolon. So you will be committing some blunders if you don't add a semicolon to end that. So what we do here is we are printing a data. So you see the data here is different from the data here. What I'm doing here using this procedure, you see all the main procedures, the main keywords are in dark blue here. Yeah? This one is different. So the data carz here is different. You see there's no equal sign here. So this is a data step. This creates data. This manipulates data. It does a lot of things. These steps only specify what to print. You see this data, say, oh, print cars. It could have been something else if you already create that. So print these. So let's print and see what happens. Voila. So you have your data step set here. You see, you have the make, you have the model, you have the type, you have the origin, you have the train, you have everything that you would need in your data. So to print, this prints the entire data set, which is how many columns? Remember the observations, 428 observations, and how many columns? If you count them, there will be 15, which is your variables. So back to the editor window. So remember this, the take home for this today would be that SAS can do everything. I mean, almost anything you want it to do, depending on where you're coming from. If you're coming from the agri industry, you're coming from the clinical industry, you're coming from social science, axis, anywhere you're coming from, SAS, you find a place in SAS. So keep that in mind, and that there are 4 windows. We have the editor window, we have this output, this result viewer, which is this result is kind of only showing you the result, printing it out. And then we have the log. You remember, see, there are these components. So you see these colors, I will explain it to you later. And then we have the output window. There's nothing in the output right now. We have this panel here, we have the results. And when you click on these, let me just drag this a little backward. You click on the Explorer, you see a bunch of folders here that contain some data sets. So, like I mentioned, remember that we have 2 major components. We have the data step, where a lot of things happen, where most of the things happen, and then the PROC step. These are set procedures. The name procedure, what does it mean? It means procedural, something that has been set. It must follow certain rules. It must follow some specifications before you can get it to work. So the PROC print step requires a data set. If you don't supply the data and you never produce the data here, it won't work. So it requires some specific instructions or some specific things to be fed to it before it can work. So I see you in the next tutorial. So if you like what we're doing and you want to enjoy this step, we are moving from just this step. Forgive me if it is too much for you for today, but just bear with me and subscribe to our channel, and you will get the best from this tutorial. Thank you.